Alrighty, guys, it is 3:30 this Monday, December 15th. And yeah, well, so much for that. We run up. We rolled over to the March expiration. We were gapped up, at least from the close of Friday, which was the December expiration. And so far, we just kind of, the whole thing just kind of came apart. Like that popped a little bit higher at the open, and then, yes, absolutely, yes, sold off right back into where we were. Not quite where we closed Friday, a little bit above it, but still backed off pretty good. So risk off across the board. Some of the big tech stocks are still up a little bit, but it's I think it looks more like the small caps are the one with really getting creamed, really get taking it on the chin. So there you have it. So that's where we are on that. Um, at this point, I would just look at the uh, I would just look for range bound trading. I mean, we are back in this range again. We've been there for a while. So I would just say range bound trading until they start taking out these highs at the 69, 15 to or 10 to 20, or take out the lows here at the 6,800s. I think we are going to be trading in this range here. So below 6,800, look out below. Above the 6,900, 69.10, well, 6,900 to 6,920, I would say. You can see this area of support resistance 6,900, 6,910, 15, 69, 30, or 30 is probably more like it. So, but I would say these two areas, the 6,900, 69, 10 to 15, if they come out, we can probably lean into the long side. But that's where we are. So backed off pretty good today. Here's a lot of people freaking out about tech stocks and been bailing on them and so on and so forth. And that, yeah, well, uh, profit taking or lost realization or whatever you want to call it. There's definitely something going on in terms of market churning. So it's churning pretty good. It's not free for all. So far, Santa hasn't showed up. It's not quite there. Looking at the Nasdaq, let me fold this together like that. The Nasdaq is also backed off pretty good. They are down here. They are challenging the 340 to 360 level. That volume edge are right at it now. And you just can see if that comes out, it's hard to be in. Right now, we have a lower edge at the 330s. That comes out, we're going to be in trouble. I would give it down here to that 290s as well, since they were down here. But these two areas comes out, or I should say three, the 390, 360s, 350 to 60s, and the 290s here. If they can't hold that, we're going to be in trouble. So right now they're below it. They're right at that edge. Looks to me like it's failing pretty weak, but it doesn't mean that you can't see a little rally going into the close. We'll see how the market feels about it. But we kind of had to get back up in this upper range. Otherwise, this area right here at the 6,900 is going to be the 343. This volume edge at the 340 to 60s here is going to be the focus area. We'll see. A lot of risk off stuff today this morning. That's not quite expect. I was expecting a little bit stronger market, but no, didn't turn out that way at all. Now looking at our let me see, where are you? Calendar. So tomorrow morning we have employment situation at 8:30. Housing starts and permit as well. Retail sales all at 8:30. We have PMI composite at 9:45. Business inventories at 10. So 8:30 is going to be wild. So employment situation, housing starts, and retail sales all at the same time. So at the 16th, in front of tomorrow. But anyway, so starting off, I would say this a slight bias to the downside on the Nasdaq to get started until they get it back up above that 400 level. You get up above these areas. I prefer it above that 440s, but as long as I hold down here. I started the ES range bound. I'm going to start Nasdaq with a slight bias to the downside until they can repair this, start trading back above this edge and show a little bit of strength there. So far, and it looks to me like a lot of small cap type stocks are getting hammered. All these, the Russell broke out recently, and everyone was so happy about it, and then suddenly it's like I think that's just right back in the shitter. So that's how that looks. Anyway, so that is the ES and Nasdaq, and so starting off range bound on the ES, slight bias to the downside on the Nasdaq. Let's see how this develops. And then finally on the bonds, I had one trade on the bonds. So a couple of trades on the Nasdaq, by the way, early on, and I stopped trading because it was so volatile and crazy. Um, and on the bond market, I did take one trade earlier on. That was at the little run up here. Got in at the edge, around about the 08s. Had to fade a little bit of heat here. It popped it all the way up to the 11s. And so I was in here at the 08s, I believe. Yeah, 08s. And I all the way up to 11. Then again, so I mean, I have a 4 tick stop, so I was to tick away from it. It wasn't quite the risk of taking me out on that one, right up here. But you can see all this range today. It's just in this is a reversal bars on the top. You see one straight shot up, one straight shot down, and then just a little slop. But not a lot of rotations at all in the bond market today. There was just a steady grind. So I got out of this trade with it for a tick. I had to because I was going to step out. But sometimes you just have to let it sit there. If I haven't touched this trade, it would have been in pretty good shape, right? So it's just, but you can't apply the ES Nasdaq mentality to the bonds. They just don't trade like that. So yeah, I'm impatient. That kind of gets me to get out sometimes a little bit too early on these. The bond market, that I mean, you can just let that sit there and just freaking tick away, you know. The reason I got out of that one is I had to step away, and I was concerned that that deep here is going to run up in test C and potentially extend it, and yes, that would be kind of sucky. Opportunity would have been to get short again against that 11 retest if that happened, but as I said, it never happened. So, all right, so back to the ES and Nasdaq, and so far, yep, the kind of where we left it, that's kind of in a tractor area here. So let's see how this goes tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow morning, a lot of news coming out. So hold on for your hold on for the ride. All right, guys. We'll see you back in the morning. You have a good evening. Later.